Welcome one and all to another installment of the set I like to call Pokemon Team 7. So yeah, just like last time, it's been 2 years since I did the last one, and we're going to show 3 things here because all those are the ones I played. So this time, I have played through 2 ROM hacks of Pokemon Emerald and Pokemon VII Discovery. So, unlike all the other sections where I kind of went in order of when I played it, well, except for the first one, that was in game release order. This time, I wanted to focus on the ROM hacks first, even though I played them after VII Discovery, because like there's a lot to talk about with VII Discovery. Well, for those who haven't already seen it, of course. So here's the thing with the ROM hacks I want to mention. Okay, so all of these, every single one of these games are more Pokédex completion files. And so, and of course, all of these, I have not planned out a team. They just kind of showed up organically. Therefore, each of these teams I'm about to show are only really just the teams that I've used for the respective final bosses. So, and also we'll get a chance, if I get to showcase the extras that I've used for each of these playthroughs. So let's begin with too many types. So I have made a video, detailing the shorthand of me completing through too many types Pokédex. So, and there you probably have noticed what the team was. And actually, I'm kind of glad I made that video. It's actually one I want to like to replay for myself. I just found that it's a really good video. So anyway, in it, I have showcased this team. Now, these are 7 Pokemon on this, because the main team is really the 7, not the 6. Insert the boys reference. Anyway, although really, Latios is there mainly for when I used for one against the final boss Wallace. But I had Haxorus there because it's really the part of the main team, so I used it when I used against Steven instead of Latios. So let's just get this right off the bat. So for those who do not know or have not seen the playthrough, Delphox is the starter of the too many types. Because for those who don't know, with too many types, you choose between Chikorita, Fennekin, and Popplio as your starter. I found a way to have each of these starters because like normally you can't get every starter. So I found a way to get each of the starters, and I've used both Delphox, the main starter, and Primarina for the playthrough. I mean, of course, I didn't want to discredit Meganium, but it's just that like, there are other really cooler Pokemon that I've used for the team. So, there's not really much to say about this, because again, these Pokemon are just kind of showed up organically, and they're just really strong for what they are. I think I want to say MVP goes to Golisopod, because like I didn't think I would use Golisopod in a playthrough, but Golisopod had proven itself very useful. So, kind of hats off to Golisopod for being like very useful. Like even compared to like absolute beasts like Crocodile or Dragapult or even Primarina, Golisopod was like very useful for the team. So your hats off to that. So I'm also gonna showcase each of the different types that each of these Pokemon use. So yeah, so I guys can show a little bit one by one like what I think of the team. So Delphox, as I mentioned, is the starter of the playthrough. Again, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep using Delphox. However, I just really like Delphox as the Pokemon, so of course it's going to be on the team, like regardless. So that's pretty neat. Golisopod, as I mentioned, is like the MVP of the team. Even though like other Pokemon like Crocodile or Primarina did a lot more, but Golisopod is just a really cool Pokemon, there. Speaking of really cool Pokemon, a bad Pokemon, so to say, it's Crocodile. Again, I think Crocodile's a really cool Pokemon, so of course I want to put it on the team. And again, yeah, Crocodile is very useful for the moves it can learn. It has a large variety of moves it can learn, so obviously it's going to be on the team. Again, it's cool. And Primarina, again, I wasn't sure if I want to use Primarina because, well, it's not a starter, so What am I going to use it? It turns out the Primarina as like a damage dealer, and this general usefulness is arguably better than Delphox in the regard. That's why I tend to use Primarina a lot, even more than Delphox. Even Delphox is the starter. I mean, Dragon Pulse is pseudo legendary, of course, is going to be in there. It's just that strong. However, for when I used against Wallace, I had Latios, even though I had Haxorus for a lot longer. I had used Haxorus for a lot longer. I wasn't sure whether or not how powerful Wallace was. I mean, I knew about Wallace going because I watched a bunch of videos of Too Many Types before doing this playthrough. And I know about the crazy team that Wallace has. So I wanted to bring in Latios just in case that the rest of the team would not handle it. And, well, they handled it. Latios barely was even used for the final battle. It was just there as backup, really, in case something went south. But it didn't. It was fine. The team survived, like, without Latios, more or less. So, I said, after that, I'm probably going to stop using Latios. Just went to keep using Haxorus whenever we're going to fight Steven. And Steven, arguably, it's very difficult. I don't think it's more difficult than Wallace, but, like, it's just this crazy high level jump. But Haxorus, again, it was used for a really long time, so of course I'm going to need to use it on the team, because, well, even though I had a lot of Pokemon, Haxorus was just used a lot. Alright, so now let's start with the main team. I'm going to showcase now, here, all the other Pokemon that I mainly used for the playthrough. So, yeah, you can see there are 12 Pokemon that I've more or less used. I mean, yes, Rayquaza's there, but again, Rayquaza was there mainly to deal with legendaries stuff, because, it's still a Pokédex completion thing, and there are some pretty powerful legendaries there that need to be dealt with, so Rayquaza, and Silvally, too. Although, just so I can remember myself, the Silvally is Fairy type, because, Silvally is type normally, and it adds a type for when it shows one of those, the memories. So, and since the Emerald memory doesn't exist as a obtainable thing in Too Many Types to my knowledge, unlike with the boss, or Wallace, I just went with Fairy. And of course, as you can see here, Meganium, yes, Meganium's still in there. I didn't just scrap it entirely as soon as I got it. I did use Meganium in the, in the playthrough, but if I had to choose for the team needs to be strong. So, sorry, Meganium. But hey, at least you're in ZA now, so you're gonna have your redemption arc soon. But yeah, I guess some of the Pokemon I really want to highlight out of the backup squad. I guess I'm gonna start with Unpheasant. As you can see, there's an Unpheasant here. It's kind of the lows like what's that doing here, but Unpheasant is mainly used for the early game, and Unpheasant, more as a P-Dove, and then, keeps going to Unpheasant. It was actually very useful in the early game. So, yeah, I'm not gonna leave it out of the honorary list, just because it's a boring bird, and I've used it for the early game. It's deserved to be there, even though it doesn't really get used that much in the mid and late game. I guess the Electivire in there I find pretty useful, because I learned such a lot of really good moves. I actually almost considered having an Electivire in the main team, but it just, decided organically to go with the one I went with. Same idea with Sarina, who is a Smash type in Too Many Types, for good reasons. But, again, I need a team that's actually really strong, and all the other Pokemon are stronger than Sarina, so what am I going to do? But yeah, the team itself is actually pretty dang good, and almost in like the final team potential. Well, for most of them they are. However, I just went with a team with, just because, they're the good ones. And as you can see with the next team I'm going to mention, same idea. So let's go talk about them now, and that is Emerald Seaglass. So, Emerald Seaglass, again, for those who have not seen it or heard of it, is like, imagine Pokemon Emerald, make it a lot more, modern stuff, and make it in a Gen 2 aesthetic. So we see not only just, the usual, Hoenn decks, but there's also a lot more Pokemon than just that. But also, some Pokemon get sprite rework, some get new sprites, some get really dang cool sprites. And even some Pokemon get type changes. So, However, the thing is, among the team that I've used, only one of them has a specific type change, and I'll get to it right about now. This is the team for Emerald Sea Glass. Now, something that's a bit odd here. So again, as you probably told, this is still an Emerald playthrough, so Blaziken is a starter. However, believe it or not, I haven't used Blaziken all that much until the Elite Four. So any one of the extras I'm about to show you later could have been used instead of Blaziken. I've only really used Blaziken because I took pity on not using the starter, even though I kind of tendency to not pick the starter. So I was right to go for using Blaziken, because of course Blaziken is still a really dang good Pokemon, even among all the other Pokemon that are just really good in Sea Glass. So I just want to bring that out. So the Pokemon out of this team that has the type change is Aggron, who went from Steel Rock to Steel Dragon. And that really, it being a Steel Dragon, is kind of the main reason why it's in the main team. Because, like, I did not expect it to be a Steel Dragon type. I just find that really dang cool, so it has to be there. Of course, Aggron is also a really dang cool Gen 3 Pokemon. If I get a chance to use it, now that it's a freaking Steel Dragon type, it's in the team. Like, I think, like, out of all of these Pokemon that I've used for the team, the only one that was an absolute shoo-in, the first draft was Aggron. So I could call Aggron the ace of the team, I guess. I think I called Aggron the ace of the team. Because, like, it was first draft, so, obviously. Second draft, believe it or not, was the Persian. And that's mainly because it had it had a really good utility. I used it a lot, trying to steal some, like, lucky eggs, like, in Victory Road. Or try to use Thief on some other stuff so I can get some items for, to help boost everyone else. All of this stuff ended up training Persian quite a lot, to the point that it was super high leveled compared to everyone else that had to put it on the team. So it's in the team because it was so useful, it leveled a lot. So it's kind of like I'm gonna mention later. In VII Discovery, I use Kilowattrel mainly because it's the highest level Pokemon in the party. So I'm gonna get to that, but for right now, Persian is there mainly because it's just already that high leveled and already had a good utility. So of course it's in there. Believe it or not, I got a shiny in Emerald Sea Glass, and that is Clefable. Now I wasn't entirely sure whether or not to use the Clefable in the final team, because again, I had a ton of other Pokemon in the back, ready to be used for the Elite Four and Champion. But I decided to use it anyway because it's the shiny. Because how would I say, oh, I had a shiny and then not use it? And that's also the only Pokemon here with a nickname. I just nicknamed it Shiny! Exclamation point. So yeah, it's in the team because it's the shiny. Of course, why not? So next up on my mention is the Tropius, and that's entirely because I didn't notice initially, but I think I was told somewhere that Tropius is amazing in Sea Glass. The changes done to Tropius is so good, it's so crazy that I was flabbergasted at how much cool stuff Tropius gets in Sea Glass that I don't think it'll ever be used in anything ever again for how good Tropius is in Sea Glass. Cause first of all, Tropius gets freaking Flower Trick. From Meowscarada, who's not in this game. So I'm like, holy crap, he gets Flower Trick? Oh yeah, let's go spec it all into physical attack, right? You got Flower Trick, and then you got Dragon Dance, because Natural Dance, Dragon Dance, and a bunch of other physical moves. And then decided, hey, if you think Flower Trick is cool, check this out. It learns Matcha Gotcha. And go from crazy Gen 9 Grass move to crazy Gen 9 Grass move, but it's a special attacker. And then looked at Tropius' stats in Sea Glass, how much it changed, and it turns out it has a plus 16 boost in attack and a plus 16 boost in special attack. And so making the special attack, well, not that great compared to most Pokemon, but it's still pretty significant enough. So you know what? I'm gonna go spec it back into special attack. Had it a Matcha Gotcha like a Matcha Gotcha. It has Air Slash and I think it's Dragon Pulse. And then out of nowhere, freaking thing decides, hey, you know you'll be cool. Like, you already see me with Dragon Dance. How about freaking Quiver Dance while we're at that? You're telling me freaking Tropius gets insane buffs in Sea Glass. Like, okay, you could probably tell by now that all those crazy changes, it's in the team. And it's like, it had to be in the team because what the heck is all this? Alright, and finally Lapras is there mainly to fill out the 6 slides, not as special as the others here. But I really wanted to get some ice Pokemon because I didn't have an ice Pokemon even in the backup squad. I'm gonna show it in a sec. I just needed some ice coverage, and Lapras happened to be it, so it's in the team because I needed a sort of coverage. And now these are the backup squad. So as you can see, there are quite a number of them. There's what, 16 Pokemon in the backup squad. Lineu is mainly there for pickup, because of course he does. Surprisingly enough, there are a few other Pokemon here with significant type changes. So for example, Electivire gets its well-deserved fighting type. So now it's electric fighting. And Magmortar, it looks like Magmar, but it's actually Magmortar, just so you know, is Fire Dark for some reason. Sure, why not? And also, one weird thing here is that you probably noticed there's a really odd Pokemon in here that you don't really see nowadays, and that is Huntail. Why is Huntail here? It's Water Dragon type. Yeah. Freaking who thought of being an idea to give Huntail Water Dragon type? Whoever's crazy enough to do that, you're a freaking genius. Because like, if nobody's gonna use Huntail otherwise, so might as well make a Water Dragon type. And it's actually pretty decent. So it's in the team. Well, it was in the backup squad, really. Another Pokemon that was very useful mainly in the early game was Victory Bell. But mainly because it has really good synergy to make it a very strong Pokemon in the early game. So of course it's in there for that reason. And of course Gardevoir and Gallade are there because, well, it's me. You know me. They have to be here. Like, it would be crazy if they're not being used. Even though technically I didn't use it in too many types, but same idea, whatever. Although I did try with Gallade in too many types. It's just that there are a lot better Pokemon that I'd rather use. But yeah, that's right there. Oh yeah, and Hydrapple. I might as well talk about Hydrapple just for a second, mainly because freaking thing is hard to get. Because, believe it or not, it's the only place it spawns is in a new grass area, Little Root Town, but you need Cut to get it. And it's a super rare spawn. So again, trying to complete the Pokédex in Sea Glass, yeah, that will require me to get 4 of these things. But luckily for me, one cool thing about Sea Glass is that it has Dex Nav built into it. So once I see a Pokemon, I basically have guaranteed to find more of it. So that's one thing I really like about Sea Glass, is that it incorporates a few Auraz things into it, while also having all those different changes that I've already said. So I just think that's a really, really good Emerald ROM hack. So yeah, those are the ROM hacks that I want to mention for this video. And now it's time for the big one, the VII Discovery teams. So there are quite a few things I wanted to mention with the VII Discovery team. First of all, it's not one team. Here's the thing. So I decided for VII Discovery to have the main team handle the main game, and then I have a separate team for the Teal Mask, and a separate team for the Indigo Disc. Why did I do this? Because it's fun. Duh. So let's go start with the main team. And yes, the main team has a lot of backup. It has almost an entire box of a backup squad. So when I say this is a more traditional Catching the World team, this is very much a Catching the World team. So, this is the main team for VII Discovery. So, you probably noticed that the starter is not in here. So, yes, the starter is not in here. And that is entirely because Skeletor decided, hey, it would be fun if I go end up being a fire ghost type. The same type of Pokemon that I knew from day one of seeing it, it's going to be on the team's Ceruledge. Because, yeah, you would be wondering, okay, if I knew I'm going to use Ceruledge in the team despite being, you know, just get random Pokemon, why the heck did I decide to go for Coco? And the entire reason for that is because I have an avatar cycle. I have a cycle of which types to use in every primary pair. I only, like example, I always tend to pick Squirtle in Kanto. I tend to pick Chikorita in Johto. I tend to pick Torchic in Hoenn. I tend to pick Piplup in Sinnoh. Tend to pick Snivy in Unova. Tend to pick Fennekin in Kalos. Tend to pick Popplio in Alola. And I've really only used, like, you know, Grookey once, but, like, same idea. And similar to here, for Coco. So, you know, Water, Grass, Fire, Water, Grass, Fire, Water, Grass, Fire. So whenever Gen 10 comes up, the Water starter is going to be picked, even if I'm probably not going to like it. So, there you go. So, and of course, like, I'm going to say this right now, like, Skeletor is going to see some use, so it's not like it's not doing anything. So, anyway. So, the VII Discovery team. So they talked a bit more of Ceruledge. Because it's like the one Pokemon here that I knew for a fact that's going to be on the main team from day one of seeing it. However, believe it or not, it's actually one of the last Pokemon that I actually obtained because I didn't know what the evolution method was. Because, you know, I was playing through it completely blind. Well, by completely blind, I mean, like, I didn't look at any of the rumors, the leaks, or anything. I only looked at officially released material to go by. So I knew Ceruledge exists. I just don't know how to evolve it. So, with that, I finally got the Ceruledge. So here is the rest of the team. So I'm going to talk first about Kilowattrel, because I already mentioned it before. The reason why it is on the team is mainly because it's already the highest level Pokemon that I've already had at the time of, you know, selecting the main team to go fight the Elite Four champion. And the good champion. So, it's there. It might as well be there. Also, it's also there because it's one of the very few special attackers that I have, even including in the backup squad. Because most of the backup squad are physical attackers. Just letting you know right now. And plus, I needed some speed into this team, and the rest of the party isn't exactly contributing to the speed department. So, Kilowattrel is there mainly because it's fast, and it's a special attacker, who also just so happens to be the highest level Pokemon in the party. So, it's there. Next up, Tinkaton, who may or may not be the ace of the team. I don't know if I can decide between Tinkaton or Bascal as the ace of the team. However, because I tend to meme a little bit more with Tinkaton, I think I want to say Tinkaton is the ace of the team. So, for those who have not seen VII Discovery, whenever I want to finish a battle, I tend to throw in, you know, Gigaton Hammer and say it's hammer time, ending the battle. So, Tinkaton's the ace of the team. So, yeah, it's money there because, you know, hammer time. I just think it's super cool, cute. Definitely, like, one of my favorite Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. And that's even before taking into account the Tinkaton memes. I wasn't even aware of Tinkaton memes until after I've already beaten everything. After I've already decided I want to look up stuff. So, it just made me love Tinkaton just a bit more. Like, not to the lengths of Ceruledge or another Pokemon on this team. But I'm just saying that, you know, Tinkaton is pretty cool Pokemon. So next, another cool Pokemon on the team is Clodsire. I mean, look at it. Like, does this guy not automatically scream, "This is in the team"? I mean, this guy's probably one of the best designs in Gen 9, I could probably think of entire generations of which the entire Pokedex as a design worse than Clodsire. So, yeah, I just think a lot. Like, Clodsire has some it's a really good design, the spikes and stuff. And also it's a poison ground type. And well, let's just say one of my favorite Pokemon of all time is also just so happens to be that particular type combination. However, it isn't in Scarlet and Violet, so I have to agree for a bit. But I guess I don't have to because it's replaced by a really dang solid mod. Anyway, Excalibur! I remember when getting, like, you know, Arctobacks, I immediately figured out, hey, is it the pseudo? It's probably the pseudo. I mean, it's dragon in a different, you know, different type, and I don't really recognize it. It looks kind of weird, kind of small, and then I evolved it at, like, one level, like, which is a rare candy, and just leveled it up to Arctobacks, and I'm like, yeah, this looks like the pseudo. And then I got the Excalibur, the freaking, like, sword spike on its back. I mean, I love swords. Like, this thing, and like also has, like, part of Excalibur as part of its name. Like, duh, as the sword guy, this has to be on the team. So, now he's not a pseudo, it's a sword reference. I mean, yeah, Godzilla too, but, like, yeah, whatever. And, oh, and, did I mention it's one of my favorite types of all time? Ice? Yes? Yes. And finally, Arboliva, even though it is like second in the team preview, I guess so to say. I have it last because it was like the final like pick of the team. I'd come through a bit of like everybody in the backup squad. By the way, it's like almost an entire box, and I settled on I don't know how do you say it? I say Arboliva. Well, you know, because Oliva is the correct pronunciation of olive in Spanish, and Arbol. So I don't know if it's Arboliva or Arboliva. But then if it was Spanish pronunciation, I would say Arboliva. Anyway, this thing. It's mainly because like I needed first of all I needed a special attacker because everyone else is a physical attacker, except for Kilowattrel. I figure, you know what, I think grass might be an interesting a type to, just in case that I may need to fight a bunch of ground type Pokemon. Because Ceruledge is weak to it, Clodsire is weak to it, and Ticketot is weak to it. So I think I just want to make sure that I need to have some ground coverage before, you know, something weird happens. Oh, right, the Elite Four member, the first one, the one that doesn't look like a ground type user, is a ground type user. Dang, I saved myself a lot of time with that. So yeah, Arboliva is there because it provided very needed coverage and a different attacking type. So yeah, I kind of needed the special attacking thing. And now for the backup squad of that. So here's a screenshot of, you know, the backup squad because I don't have the backup squad as it is anymore. Kind of box it in I don't know where it is. I don't know if I box it in home somewhere or if there's either released or anything. I don't even know. But the point is that I have used, well, except for that Paladin Wooper over there, I've used every single one of these to some extent. Now, out of the Pokemon here, I need to get some like honorable mention to Garganacl because I've used it for a good chunk of the playthrough. I was almost sure that was going to be part of the final team. I even used it against Cassiopeia. I actually had it for a good chunk of the game, even up to the end game. However, because of the team structure that I've already had when going to the Pokemon League, I figured that both it and Glimmora just are not fit for the team, given, you know, I guess given the structure that I needed for the team. So, unfortunately, I had to bench Garganacl and Glimmora for the team that I decided to choose for the thing. So, and also, Glimmora is a Pokemon that I really love the design of. Even though, again, I could have just used it at any time, could have used it on the team. I was this close to putting on the team instead of Arboliva. However, I decided Arboliva was probably the better pick because otherwise the team would be way more weak to ground. And I kind of didn't want that to happen. Again, I was playing it blind, so I didn't know about Rika. So, yeah, there's also like a few more honorable mentions, like Gothitelle, like Gallade, of course, Skeledirge, the starter. Flamingo for the early game. The Corviknight, as you can see here, is a shiny. And, again, I could have put it on the team because it's a shiny. However, I decided against it because I already used it in the playthrough. I already used Corviknight in Sword Catch in the World, so that automatically, for me, automatically disqualifies it for being used on this team. Even though it's a shiny. And plus, I already had Tinkaton on the team, so I kind of didn't want to overlap types. And yes, it doesn't, like, yes, like, overlapping types, it's fine. Like, I didn't never had an issue with overlapping types. But for the for the purposes of not knowing what I'm doing, I don't know what's ahead of me. I don't think it's a good idea to overlap types. So yeah, and of course Skeletor is there too. You know, I think I did use Skeletor for some parts of the other playthroughs, like the Kitakami stuff. I did use Skeletor in some parts of it. However, the team that I'm going to mention for Kitakami is only for the team that used to fight the final battle Kirin. I did not. So guys, the quote unquote final team for Teal Mask isn't really a team. So let's go. So we're done with with them with the main team and the backup squad of the main game of Flat Discovery. Let's go to the DLCs. So for the DLC, I have used so I really wanted originally for Teal Mask to be a solo run using a shiny Hisuian Zorua. So I wanted to use just that for the entirety of Teal Mask. However, it turns out that both Carmine and Kirin, both the trainers that you tend to battle in the Teal Mask, both really like Dark-type Pokemon. Both of them are really fond of using Dark-type Pokemon. Not just Dark-type Pokemon, but non-Dark-type Pokemon with Dark-type moves. So, and since Dark is like the one big weakness Hisuian Zorua has, it's a bit troublesome to deal with. Even though I leveled up to level 100, even like maxing out as much as I can, it still had trouble dealing with Carmine's Morpeko. So I decided for that to instead, and plus like to use other Pokemon. Now here's the problem: I didn't have the main team. The main team is at home, just chilling there, and it just so happened that with the first day of doing Kitakami, Pokemon Home got locked because for its own maintenance. So I did not have access to either the main team or the backup squad. So I had to make do. So for the final battle specifically, so this is the only talk about the final battle of the Teal Mask, I instead went with the Pokemon that I normally use for raids, or Pokemon I normally use for catching things. So let's go start with Goldango, where I named 1K piece. Because, well, 1K is 1,001 piece of certain anime I've never really bothered to watch, nor do you want to. So I use Goldango mainly to deal with Pokemon that spawn in the water. So I started when to do a shiny hunt with outbreaks. I have it on the water, even though Goldango's really bad at doing it because it likes to just surf around, like doing everything except the thing I want it to do. Takes a long time to beat one Pokemon up, but when it does its job, it does its job. So it's there. And next, I'm going to talk about Dark Mode. So again, I made a video on Dark Mode. I'm not going to talk more about it. Next up, Sombrerine, the Hatterene. I did it Sombrerine because of Hatterene and Sombrero, because it's funny. This is a Pokemon that I tend to use for 7-star raids, or just raids in general. So this is like my main raid Pokemon. It's a support Hatterene that mainly uses like Screens, Helping Hand, and Nudge. Or Nuzzle, my bad. Because, believe it or not, Hatterene is the only like non-electric type to learn Nuzzle. And since the raid Pokemon tend to put up shields, so I had it learn Nuzzle so it can paralyze through the shield. Because like for those who don't know, status moves in general don't work when the raid Pokemon uses up a shield. However, if you do an attacking move that has a secondary effect that can inflict a sort of status condition, then it'll inflict the status condition. So, and since Nuzzle 100% chances of paralysis, it's meant for you get the idea. Yeah, again, it's not meant for actual battle. It's just meant for raids. But it's in the final team because I just use all my raid Pokemon for it. And speaking of my raid Pokemon, I also had both forms of Tauros, Paldean Tauros, the Aqua and Blaze breed. One named Texas Smash, the Aqua one, and the Blaze one, Dakota Smash, because they're bulls and like they're American, that sort of thing. Yeehaw! And My Hero references, I think. I don't know. I haven't watched My Hero really either. So yeah, there really isn't much to talk about those two. I just want to bring them up because they're technically part of that team that I fought against Kieran last in Teal Mask. But yeah, there isn't anything to talk about. I haven't really used them since then because like why would I bother with attacking Pokemon during raids? I have Hatterene. I just like using support mons in raids. Although, very, very side note, in Quackleval's case, I had to catch a freaking Inkhead while in Malamar do the contrary strat, so that's now included in the Pokemon I use for raids thing. Now, before I go on with Indigo Disc, I want to take a shout out to Iron Catcher, the Iron Valiant, the main Pokemon that I use for catching other Pokemon. For those who don't know, I made a bunch of shorts. Just for Iron Valiant, just doing some silly things. But I just feel kind of endearing to Iron Catcher. And I have used it in the main game as well, quite a lot. Where I'm talking the main game with catching stuff. So, of course, I just want to give it a shout. Because I didn't use it in the final battle against Kieran in Teal Mask. I did use it quite a lot otherwise, in the actual, in Teal Mask itself. And now, the final team that I mentioned for this video, that is the Indigo Disc Blueberry Academy Pokemon Battle Discovery team. This is the team, and this one is incredibly special. Well, most of them are special. One of them in particular isn't all that special, but yeah, there's everything. Almost every Pokemon on this team is special in some way. So, and that's kind of the purpose of this, because I wanted this team to have, everyone is special in some way. So, let's go talk about, first of all, the least special Pokemon on this. Setitan. I decided I wanted to go for a shiny Setitan. Was one I liked Setato's shiny. It's really cute. And Setitan's shiny is also pretty good, too. And it's also a Pokemon that I would consider for the team if I didn't knew about Bascalibur. Even then, again, I would have known about Bascalibur anyway because I was quite evolving everything anyway. So, if it wasn't for Bascalibur, I would have had Setitan in the main team. So I just wanted to rectify that and have a Setitan on this team. So this one is named Unit. So yeah, I could see that I wanted everyone to have names here too. So this is actually a purposely built team for this. I need a unit because, look at it. It's a freaking unit. So anyway, next not as special Pokemon on this is the Zarude. Now, I decided to go for, hey, I realized that while decided to, draft the team for Indigo Disc, I noticed, hey, wait a minute, I've got a spare Data Zarude in Pokemon Home. What if I use it? Because, I'm not going to trade it to anyone. It's not going to be moved anywhere. I'm not giving it to anyone else. So, and it's a spare one, mind you, and, well, this is a mythical that's probably never going to exist in anything ever again, aside from, random distributions 2-3+ decades ahead of time. Ahead. Why not use it? So, here we go. So I go for Data Zarude. It doesn't have a name because I can't rename it. Stinks. But then if I did, I wouldn't know what to name it. So it's mainly there because it's a mythical that people probably forgot about. That I decided, you know what? Let's go bring it to this team. Why not? And now the next not as special Pokemon on this team. You know what? Let's go talk about Huge next. The Gengar. So, Huge is a result of me wondering what would happen if I caught an Alpha Pokemon, Gigantamax it, and what does Pokemon Home say like whether you have a Gigantamax Alpha Pokemon. So this is really more of an experiment that I did some time ago. So I caught an Alpha Gengar, right? And since like, if I'm not mistaken, like this is the only possible Pokemon that can be Alpha and Gigantamax at the same time. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm not. But that Gengar is the only Pokemon that can be both Alpha and Gigantamax at the same time. I just want to see what happens. So I took an Alpha Gengar, put in the sword, give it the Max to do the Gigantamax. What does Pokemon Home say about it? So here's what Pokemon Home says about it, right? It depends on where the Gengar's last moved from. So if the Gengar is for those who are familiar with like Pokemon Home training, if you have the Sword and Shield stamp, meaning the last game it was in is Sword and Shield, the Gengar will register as Gigantamax only. And if the last game that Gengar was moved from with Legends Arceus, it would say that it is an Alpha. There is no way to have it both have the Gigantamax and the Alpha symbol at the same time. Even if you move it into Violet. If you move it into Scarlet and Violet, it will say neither. If you move it into BDSP, it will say neither. So that was an experiment that I wanted to do. So yeah, as you can see, Gengar is named huge because it's an Alpha that can Gigantamax. Like, it's the biggest it can be, but it can be even bigger. So, huge. Okay. Also, it's funny that I put in my notes, like, when I put in my notes, I put the species name of the Pokemon and then the nickname in parentheses. I put the species name huge and the nickname Gengar. I don't know if Future Me's gonna put that in there. I just think it's funny that I didn't even notice until now. Anyway, the next special Pokemon that I want to mention is the Zoroark. Now, you'll be wondering, wait a minute, a shiny Hisuian Zoroark. Interesting. Is that the... Yes, it is. So I decided for that. I also decided, hey, so if Hisuian Zoroark wasn't going to work in Kitakami, what if I bring it into the Blue Ray Academy fully evolved and name it after the guy it could not beat? I named the Zoroark that was a Zorua in Kitakami trying to face Kieran but couldn't. I named it Kieran. I named it in honor of my buddy Kieran. And yes, if you guys don't know, and by Discovery, like almost every time I mention Kieran, I call my buddy. So I named it my buddy Kieran. So I named a Zoroark after him because, yeah, I just find it kind of special, really. So next special thing is the Blastoise, named Founturte, because I think Founturte's a really cool name, another cool pond name that mentions, oh, it's a turtle, but also it's water, fountain, turtle. This Blastoise was the starter that I picked in Pokemon Home. So for those who don't know, in Pokemon Home, when you first boot up the game, you're given a choice of a starter Pokemon, the Kanto starters, to just to have the first Pokemon be shown on your home. I said I went with Squirtle, so because I said it before, the Avatar cycle, water first, yeah. I named it Founturte. So this Blastoise is the same Squirtle that I chose as the first Pokemon that I received in Pokemon Home from Grand Oak. So yeah, and well, my entire being nowadays is Pokemon Home, where like Pokemon storage, living dexes, that sort of thing. So I feel like a perfect representation of Pokemon Home, living dex, store nonsense, should be used on a special team like this. And plus, freaking Blastoise is a beast in Scarlet and Violet. Like now that because the model has changed, the Hydro actually shoots from the actual cannons, and like when it goes into water, you shoot the water out of the back of the shell. Blastoise got a huge glow up in Scarlet and Violet. That's not even funny. It's just epic. So yeah, of course, like, I need to put the Blastoise in the team. I feel like it's deserved. Blastoise earned that freaking buff. It's pretty neat. And finally, the most special Pokemon in this team is the Infernape. So why is Flare the Infernape very important? I don't know if, well, I know I have mentioned this. It's just like kind of a slight mention in previous videos. And in that, this is not my Infernape. I'm going to tell you right now, I have not once owned this Infernape in my life. Yes, I've kept it stored all this time, yes. But this Infernape is not mine. It's my brother's. From his playthrough of Diamond. You know, back in like 2006 when we were both kids, back when he was still playing Pokemon. That Flare. So yeah, I decided to put the most special Pokemon, my brother's Infernape, from Diamond, all the way to this team for the Indigo Disc, just to complete the whole "this is a special team" thing I wanted to go for the Indigo Disc. Just you know, because my brother's Pokemon need to be here. I feel like I need to be here because, and also like it's a freaking beast. It's an Infernape. Like, why wouldn't I use it? So I guess you can say the Infernape's the quote-unquote starter of the team, because like it starts off the idea that, hey, maybe I should put like some special Pokemon in this thing. So there you go. This is the team that I used for the Blueberry Academy, and the last thing I'm gonna mention for this video. So yeah, with Legend ZA in the corner, with some other games that I can now play because I hacked my 3DS, so I can now play like all the 3DS games. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the next 2-3 years when I do Pokemon Teams 8. But for right now, see you guys later.